My Make Studio, and today we're making a unicorn cake! Woo! So if your My Make Studio box with the little sticker right here does not say unicorn cake kit, you're probably looking for another video, so go ahead and head back to our YouTube channel and find the video that's titled the same as whatever little sticker is right here. But if you are here for the unicorn fun times, welcome! It's gonna be awesome. So first things first is you do want your cakes baked. They don't have to be leveled or anything like that. I'm going to go over how to do that in the video, but you at least want them baked and then room temperature or chilled. They can be in the fridge for a bit or even the freezer for a bit. Honestly, when it comes to cakes, because we have to do some smoothing out of our unicorn's face, the colder it is, the easier it's going to be to work with, and least likely it's going to crumb on you and fall apart. Definitely don't ever want to try and decorate a hot cake because it turns into a hot soupy goopy mess, and we don't want hot soupy goopy mess unicorns. We want adorable unicorns today. So make sure your cakes are baked and then at least room temperature, but probably a little bit colder than room temperature. If you're not sure how to bake your cakes and you haven't done that yet, go ahead and stop this and come on back when you've done that. But we do have a video on our YouTube channel that is how to bake your cakes, or you can head over to our website, which is mymakestudio.com, and we have written directions there too for you to bake your cakes. Aside from that, you need a pair of handy dandy scissors to cut some bags open. You need a butter knife or a spatula. Either one works. When I first started decorating, I didn't have any of the tools available, so I'm going to show you how to do it with a butter knife. But if you have a cake spatula or even an icing comb, feel free to bust that out and use it. Just because I'm not showing it here doesn't mean you're not allowed to use it. And then some kind of towel. It can be a hand towel, kitchen towel, paper towel. I'm going paper towel today. But just something we can set our open icings on, and if we get a little bit on our fingers, we can wipe it off on here. Just kind of help keep our area a little bit more clean. And then finally, wash your hands nice and good. And then after that, you just need your box, your cakes, and these things, and you're ready to go. So I'm going to reset just a little bit. And we're going to dive right into the unicorn. Alrighty, so I've got my cakes here, and then I took the little board out of my box. Now, with the cakes, we are going to level them. So depending on where you are in the country, you might not need to do a lot of leveling because the weather, altitude, humidity, lack thereof affects cakes. And we ship all over the country, so your cakes might bake a little bit differently than mine do here in Colorado. So mine today didn't get super rounded, so I'm only going to have to cut a little bit off. But if you have a big dome going on, you didn't do anything wrong, and that's totally normal. But I'm going to take my knife, and I'm going to hold it sideways. Not this way, not this way, sideways. And we're just trying to make our cakes not so round. So I'm just going to saw back and forth. And then it's up to you what you want to do with your cake tops. You can eat them as a snack while you decorate your unicorn. So you know what it tastes like? Unicorn blood. That was weird, sorry. You can eat your pop, or you can eat your tops so you know what they taste like while you decorate your unicorn. Or you can save them and make some cake balls or cake pops out of them. You got options. But this is pretty good. So I'm going to, the part that I cut is going to face up towards the sky. Boop. And if you need to do this more than one time, it's totally fine. I have been doing this a long time. So if you need to do a couple swoops, nothing wrong with that either. If you accidentally sneeze while you're leveling your cake, it can happen. It can happen. Don't want to stress you out, but it can happen. If that does happen to you, use that one as your bottom cake. Go ahead and push them back together as best you can. You can also saran wrap it for a little bit and pop it in the freezer. That'll help hold it back together too. But the filling of our cake is going to act as a glue to hold everything together as well. So if you accidentally break one, use that one as your bottom cake. And now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one as well. This one only needs a little bit. Oh yeah, that's already fine. And before we actually stack them, we want to put our filling in here because we want there to be a delicious center of icing with every bite. So I'm going to open up my icing bags and I'm going to pull out the white icing. And then I like to give it a couple of mooshes before I actually pour it on my cake. And then I am going to squeeze a little bit out over here too, just a little bit. Perfect. And then we're going to take the top off, and then we don't need to do anything else just yet. Top is off. And now it is up to you how you fill this cake. You can either do ziggy-zaggies, polka dots, little circles, up to you. We just want to cover this whole top part. Don't worry about your sides yet, just the top. So I like to do rings. And then I want my rings really close together. If you get a little cattywampus or you have some gaps, you can go back in and fill them in with polka dots, or you can also use that knife and spread it around just a little bit, just so the whole top is covered. Once you have it covered, I'm actually going to go a little bit more towards my edge. You want to come as far to your edge as you can. I stayed pretty close to it. So I'm just going to do another one and then fill in my gaps. If you have a little bit that sandwiches out when you do put your other cake on top, that's all right. Most of our unicorn is hair, so it's totally fine. It will get covered up. And then I'm just going to set my open icing down here. And then this cake that I cut, the part that I cut is going to go face first in the icing. So, boop, and sandwich it on. Give it a good little pat. Don't squash it, but just good cake. Yes, nicely done. Nicely done. I appreciate you. So, now that you have this, look at your cake. You look at your cake? Look at your cake. And pick out what part of your cake feels the most like a unicorn face to you. So for me, personally, right here feels like a unicorn face. So we're going to go back to our white icing and we're going to draw a rectangle. So I'm going to look at it for a second. And I like to make the outline first. And also, if your cake is a little hourglassy, totally fine and normal. Don't worry about it. You'll just need to put a little bit of extra icing in those gaps to make them all the same level. So I'll have to do that here just a little bit. And then I'm going to put the other part of the face. I think I actually want my face a little bit wider. So this is just going to be where our unicorn's face goes. Don't forget about this. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this little rectangle in with white icing. And then when your icing when you start to use a lot of it, to get it all the way down, go ahead and just like boop, boop, boop. You can either fold the top or twist the top, whatever feels more comfortable for you. I'm used to twisting it, but folding it is not wrong either, just to help it all get in the same spot. And then I want my lines really close together just because it is easier to smooth out the closer they are together. And then our white is just for filling and just for the face. So feel free to use all of it for this depending on what type of cake you got. It might be easier than others. So for instance, if you got vanilla, it's going to be a lot easier to hide your cake underneath than it would be with chocolate or red velvet. So go ahead and get your lines really close together. We'll do some smoothing out, and then if you can still see your cake, then we'll add more icing to it and smooth it out again. And then if you don't need to do that, you have some white icing that you can put in your unicorn's hair. But the white is for the inside and for the face. So if you use all of it, it's totally fine. So I'm going to go back to my knife, and I'm going to go ahead and wipe off my cake crumbs. This is where if you have a spatula or an icing cone, that also really comes in handy. But I want to use the flat part, so how the knife is rounded. We want to use this part. And then before I do that, I like to use this side of the knife. And I like to go up and down to help smooth things out, but you can go side to side if you want, just to kind of move our icing around and make it not one line before we swoop it. And this also helps me see beforehand if I think I'm going to need more icing, which I can already tell you right here I am. So I'm going to put more icing down there. Make sure I don't have any cake crumbs on it. And just go ahead and do another row. Yes. Alright, gonna do this part again. Perfect. I don't want to be able to see any cake on this one part because it's our unicorn's face. So now is what I'm going to use the back part of the knife, and I'm just going to swoop it to help make it more smooth. It will take some icing off. Oh, that's actually, I'm fine with this. If it takes a couple tries, you did nothing wrong. I'm actually, usually with a butter knife, I need to do that 2 or 3 times. I'm pretty happy with that. I do have a little spot right here, but I like to put bangs there, so it works out great for me. So this is what you're aiming for. So if you need to swoop it a couple times, go ahead and swoop it, and then if you still see your cake, just add some more icing and swoop again. Save whatever icing you take off, like this all came off from my swoop, because you can always slap it back on your cake, spread it out a bit, and swoop it again. But I'm satisfied with this. Awesome. So next we're gonna get into our unicorn's hair. You have pink, yellow, and purple for unicorn hair. Does not matter what color you start with. You can pick whichever one you want to start with. All right. I'm gonna start with my pink. So we're going to take the little cap off, and then there is another little ring on there. Go ahead and unscrew that. And underneath it is a star tip that's attached to the bag. So this is what we're going to be using, but don't throw these away because we will need them towards the end. So keep your little round caps handy. And then I'm going to mush it a little bit and squeeze it out some. But again, you can start with whatever color you want. And sometimes that cap can be on there kind of tight. So if you need to go get someone to help you open it, it's okay. Sometimes I need to go get help too. So it is okay. It'll come off though. It does come off. So the first thing, we're just going to add hair randomly. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to make hair. So how I was talking about the bang, I like to put a bang right here. And it basically is a big rosette. So how that works is you make a blob. Here, we'll just use my hand. Make a blob, keep squeezing, come to the side, and draw a circle around your blob. Those are those cute little unicorn poofs you get all over the place. I just like to use that for the bangs for right here on my unicorn. However, you can cover all of your unicorn's hair because everything that is not this white part is being covered in hair. The sides, the top, the back, everything. But you can just do rosettes all over the cake and it also looks beautiful. Another way you can do it for little hair poofs is hold it a little above, squeeze 1, 2, 3, stop and up for a little poof. And then if you want a slight whipped creamy vibe to it, do that again, but twist your wrist a little. So not like whoo, but like flip and swish, kind of whoo. Just gives it a slightly different look. I like to do a mix of all 3 because I like options, but you can do 1 or all 3 or 2 of them, just whatever feels right for you. But I'm going to go ahead and do this poof. So I don't want to start quite at the top. I want to come a little bit down because we're going to draw a circle around our poof so it'll end up going to the top. So I want my center here, squeeze, circle around it, stop squeezing. Ta-da! And now I'm just gonna add pink poofs everywhere. And I'm the kind of person where I can do 1 color, then move on to my next color, and then move on to my next color. But if that is complicated, go ahead and open up all your bags and you can go pink, yellow, purple. You can do all 3 colors at a time if that is easier for you, but I'm just going to cover it all in pink, stop, then show you what it looks like all with the yellow, stop, and then show you the purple. And then after we have our hair on there, we will discuss our ears and then our horn. Here we go. Yes! So I did not use all of my pink. I still have like half a bag of pink, but I want to see what it looks like with the other colors. So I'm satisfied with the amount of pink that's on there right now. I'm going to go ahead and move on to yellow. And then after that, I'll move on to purple. And then if I feel like it needs more of one of the other colors, I'll just go back in and add more of them. So don't feel like you have to use all of your pink icing when you're doing all of your pink poops. You can use about half of it and, just eyeball it and see where you want to go with it. So I'm going to move on to yellow. So I'm going to squeeze a little out, take off this little ring, and start making some yellow poofs. All right, so now I'm going to do my purple. I'm loving all this yellow. It's very like spring unicorn vibes going on, and I dig it. I also think my unicorn's name is going to be Elaine because I'm crazy and cakes all have personalities to me, and this is Elaine. So I'm going to go in and add my purple poofs and then adjust, see if I need to add more of the other colors or not, and then we'll go from there. Yes! Oh, I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it a lot. Okay, so now we're going to do our ears. So inside this bag, I like to call it the little bag of fun, you have a big marshmallow. So I'm going to take out the marshmallow. I'm going to cut it. And then we want to cut it corner to corner. So instead of being like a square, we want it to be more like a diamond, like this. And we're going to cut it right in the middle, corner to corner. And when you cut it, you should get this little divot. Like if you're looking at your marshmallow, there should be a little indentation. That faces this way, so away from your cake, so towards your audience. And then it is up to you where you want to put your ears. I personally like to put my horn closer to the face. So I'm going to put my horn in between my ears. I actually need to look at Elaine just a little bit. But you can put your ears farther back. And after you put your horn on, if you decide you want to move your ears, you totally can too. But I like her ears right here. That's all I'm going to do to her ears for now. And next we're going to work on her horn. So inside your little baggie, you have a boba straw of some kind. Go ahead and decide where you want your horn. So I like mine right in between my ears, closer to the front of the face, but you could be right in the middle. And stick your boba straw all the way through. It's normal for this much to stick out. And then we're actually going to trim a little bit off. Boop. You can trim it a little bit shorter if you wanted, but I'm going to start with here and go like play it by ear. Excuse me, Elaine. So next, you have some yellow fondant. So you're going to cut that open. And then I like to just mush it all into a ball. So when I say mush it, don't just squeeze, squeeze, done. Like mush it, twist it, fold it, really, really mush it up. I think it feels nice. It does make it softer, although this fondant is pretty soft. It just makes it a little easy, like more pliable and whatnot, and it feels good in my opinion. But I also think whenever we are shaping anything, starting from a ball is always the easiest. So I'm going to roll this into a ball, and then you're going to make a really long tube snake. So tube snake. And it is a little easier to do on a table that doesn't have a tablecloth like me, but if you can do it in your hands, go for it. If not, go ahead and just put it on the table and just tube snake it out. And if you want, you can have one end be smaller than the other end. That's if you want to go that extra mile, but if you don't feel like keeping up with that, it's going to come out just fine. The longer you make this, the taller your unicorn's horn will be. So I'm just going to make it a little bit longer. And then I'm going to pick one end to be my bottom. So if you did make one end smaller than the other, the thicker end, the bigger end should be your bottom. I'm going to stick it around the straw, and then I'm just going to wrap it around it. So my straw is a little too tall, so I have two options here. I either take my horn off and make it longer to go all the way up the straw, or I cut it. I'm personally going to cut my straw because I think this little horn's looking cute for Elaine right now. And then I'm going to wrap my little bit over the top of it and point the end with my fingers. And there we go! Yes! So now we have two more steps. One is an extra mile step. But if you want to add some color to your ears, put one of those little caps back on whatever icing color of your choice. This is a round tip, so you can pipe lines. So I'm going to turn my ears a little bit, and I'm just going to fill in those divots with a little icing. You could also totally put polka dots on your horn if you wanted. And then the next part is going to be your eyeballs. So your eyeballs, you've got a lot of options. Usually you have the happy face option. So I'm actually going to grab a cake board and just pipe out some options for you. But again, it is totally up to you what color you'd like them to be. I'm going to go with purple today, but they could be pink, yellow, or orange. Totally your call. Or not orange, pink, yellow, or purple. Totally your call. Okay, so option number one, which is the one I usually go with, when a cake is this colorful, when a cake's this like pastel or neon, I tend to go this route, but it is drawing a little rainbow. You can leave them like that, or you can add some little lines off of them, which is what I like to do for some fabulous lashes. Maybe your unicorn is tired by grazing by the waterfall all day, and she's just so tired, or he's just so tired, or they're just so tired. You can do smiley face eyes instead, which look more like sleepy eyes. And then you can also add little lines to those too for some lashes. And another route, which is also super cute, is just doing polka dot eyes. So you can do little tiny polka dots like your unicorn is like, woo! Or you could do really big ones. Add your lashes. And then if you have any white left over, or even pink or yellow, if you're going purple, white, pink, or yellow would work really good for these ones. But you can add some different sized polka dots to those eyes to have like the My Little Pony cartoony eye effect going on. And honestly, I would just play around with it. I would get another paper towel or a plate and figure out what eye design you like best. When you're ready to put them on your cake, if you are nervous about keeping your eyes even and not being cattywampus, which if they're cattywampus, I always go with my unicorn is like, what? And it does still look super cute. And then people are like, oh my gosh, you're so clever. And you're like, thanks. But if you don't want a wet unicorn, you can grab a toothpick or even the end of your scissors and lightly trace the eye shape into your cake first. Very lightly, don't it, just it. And use that as a stencil and a guideline, and then just pipe over it with your icing. So if you're nervous, that's the route I'd go. But I'm going to put my eyes on, and then, oh my gosh, I think we're done. Oh, you can also use the pink, 2 little pink polka dots to add some cheeks. So I'll show you what she looks like here in a second. But I got to look at her face to make sure I don't end up with wet, because I'm not feeling like wet today. I have done a wet cake on purpose before, and I do really think it looks cute. You have a quizzitive unicorn when you do that. And this is Elaine. There we go. I think she's super cute. And also, if you want to share your unicorns with us, which if you have a name or a backstory for your unicorn, please let me know what it is so I know I'm not the only crazy cake person out there. But if you want to show us a picture of whatever unicorn you did, one of my favorite things about this kit and the kits in general is that we're all doing the same thing, but everybody puts like their own spin and style on it, because it really is art that you can eat. So I love seeing your beautiful artistic creations. So you can always tag us with hashtag MyMakeStudioKits, or you can send them to our Facebook, which is MyMakeStudio, or our Instagram, which is @MyMakeStudio. And we would love to see what you do. Like, don't ever be afraid to like send us stuff. I love seeing how you guys customize these things. But if you're also just curious about like what's going on in our lives, our Instagram and our Facebook are good places to follow, because we're constantly updating like up and coming kits. And if you didn't know, we're Colorado based. So if you want to know what kind of events we've got going on here in Colorado, it's a good place to check out. And also, if you want to check out our website to see what else we do, because we do more than cakes, like we have cupcakes, we have a pie kit, I know for fall, we've got spooky haunted houses. We also have a pumpkin kit coming out where you make a pumpkin cake that looks like pumpkins. We've got a graveyard cake coming. We've got an ice skating rink. Like, we're constantly adding new things that are like updated and things that you can decorate and play with and express your creativity that you get to also eat. So if you need more decorating things and want to come hang out with me, feel free to check out our website too. And thank you so much for coming today. I hope that you had fun. I know I had fun. And enjoy eating your lovely creation. That's like the next best part. But as always, stay creative.